Oh, and there we are again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into what we like to call the last word. If you don't mind, Tommy C, will you please give me just a second, please? Because I need to go into my X. And my X needs to let the good people know that we are live right freaking now. So let's get it going. So he is Big Tommy C. I am the coach. And Tommy, we are here every single Monday night, right after Monday Night Raw, part of the Behind the Turnbuckle universe as we continue to grow. Now, a little bit of housekeeping before we get into Raw. This week is I have to travel, so we're not going to have an interview this week. We'll still have some of our content. But when I get back, Tommy, next Monday night, it's all systems go, big boy. It's all systems go.
I'm ready, brother.
Yeah, so just turn on those notifications. Guys will know exactly when we are going to start everything and get ramped up for the fall. But Tommy, normally when you have the second Raw after a big SummerSlam or a big pay-per-view or a big PLE, normally you don't have a recap of the pay-per-view from 2 weeks ago. But that's how they started tonight. And then they started the same way they started 2 weeks ago with Rhea Ripley coming out. Dom, what did you make of the first segment tonight, kind of setting up things and ripples throughout the evening?
I was very underwhelmed with this show tonight, Coach. I was very disappointed. I'm pissed off anyway because my New York Yankees got wiped out by the worst team in friggin' baseball, the fucking White Sox.
Tommy. Let me have it.
Oh my God, terrible. Oh, I'm pissed.
Let's go.
So they start this segment off, and Rhea says, "Hey Dom, you screwed up, and it's only a matter of time before you're waiting for Dom and Liv, and they're in the crowd, and they start going at Rhea." And then all of a sudden, Frankenstein appears behind Dom, and it's Priest. Like, this is too predictable. You knew he was going to show up some way, somehow. He's there. Dom's selling like a sucker, too, boy. Turns around, gives you the old Herman Munster look, and they start going at it. The best part of this whole thing is they missed a shot. They went to go to Liv, and they missed the whole thing. What was going on with Damian? I'm like, what is going on here tonight? Segment 1, way too long. It's going to set up. We know it's going to set up for Bash, right, Coach? It's got to be a mixed tag between Rhea and Priest and Liv and Dom, right? Am I right or wrong?
You're right. Real quick, by the way, not that our numbers guy, Raphael, wants to rub it in a little bit on you tonight, but he wanted to make sure that you do, Tommy, your Yankees were only a minus 360 favorite tonight on the money line. On the money line! And
oh, my God. That's 10. Embarrassing.
By 10.
Embarrassing.
But anyway, by the way, you guys have any questions for Raphael? Put them into the chat. He'll answer them for you in real time. Questions for us. Hey, Rich, it's okay you didn't make it last week. You have any questions for us, put them into the chat. We'll get to as many as we can over the course of the next 45 minutes or an hour. Sorry, Tommy. Please continue.
So I'm assuming this is going to be a mixed tag. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it almost has to be. And I think when you're going to go to Bash in Berlin or whatever they're calling it these days, it's got to be Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Because what did I tell you last week? They have nothing for Damian Priest. He loses the World Heavyweight Championship, and this is what you're going to give him, 3 or 4 weeks as he runs through the entire Judgment Day. Tonight was Carlito, then JD gets a little bit less. It's very, very predictable. But, Tommy, the hardest thing to do when you're on 52 weeks a year, and we're going to continue to reiterate this, is to come up with something fresh between when you start it and when you get to the next PLE or the next big event. That's always been the problem, Tommy. Now, when you have a red-hot rivalry or a red-hot thing going on, then you can't wait to get to the next week. But right now, do I really want to see, Tommy, Rhea Ripley cut a screaming promo? You know I can't stand her voice when she's yelling, right? When she's talking, I don't mind it. But tonight, and then didn't we get it again, the Rhea Damian Priest hug?
Yep.
All right, we got it. We got it. Damian Priest is bigger than this, in my opinion. To chase Dom and Tommy, talk to the people about when we used to set up fights in the concourse, because there's so much of a safety issue when you do that, and to have the guys out like they did I know they're trying to be different. Do you like when they still try and do that and put those guys in the middle of everybody?
You know what? It gets you involved up there in the concourse. I don't see, for me, as a live person being there, I would hate it. If I'm sitting down and this thing happens out there, I like stuff in the ring or around the ring. So nobody has to move. I get what they're doing because Liv and Dom are chicken shit. So they're not going to come in the ring. They're not going to do an entrance. So I get them placing them in the audience and then having the schmaz on the outside, meeting all the crazy stuff, throwing popcorn or garbage cans or whatever. The best part of this whole angle right now is that really Rhea hasn't gotten her hands on Liv since SummerSlam.
No.
So they're going to keep that chase going on too. To make
Tommy, real quick, let me jump in. Carlos says they did announce it. I guess we both missed that. Now
I missed that.
Well, man, I was going back and forth with baseball and Raw and everything, and I have it on the West Coast, so I can only get on one app. But if they announce it tonight, then you're right. Then you're on point. Then you're absolutely on
they
point.
did. I missed that.
More predictable. More predictable.
Yep.
But by the way, Raphael says that Ripley and Raphael, don't ever write mama or don't make me say that. Don't make me say mama or mommy. Will be a huge, huge betting favorite. So whenever they do finally go one-on-one, he's saying that Ripley will be a huge favorite, meaning they'll give the title back over to her. Don't you think, though, Liv has earned the right to stay the champion for a while? I feel like she's really elevated her game, no?
Look, if they give the title to Rhea at the next pay-per-view, it loses all the heat with Liv that she ever had and where she is right now with Dominic. Like, who cares about Liv and Dominic if she doesn't have the title, Coach? Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely
because
right.
Dom helps protect her from the title, and we all know she's using Dom, and that's going to pay off somewhere down the road, some way, somehow, in my eyes. And she's in the New Judgment Day. So it's better if Rhea chases after Liv than getting the title right after SummerSlam, the next PLE. So if that happens, I'd be very disappointed.
All right. Well, Rich said they did announce it right before the main event. So now I know why I didn't see it, because I was moving from the living room into my state-of-the-art home office that I get to work out of every single day. Now, Soupy, Tommy, you have no idea how many people from my crew want to sit in your seat. They love this show. They love this brand. Well, Raphael's a member of the crew. He's on DTL. Soupy's a member of the crew. He's on DTL. And he says, I've never been to a show where there's a fight on the concourse. It's always great to watch on TV, but I would think it may not resonate at the arena. It's not a bad take.
Oh, he's absolutely right, by the way. Yeah. It doesn't resonate in the arena because you lose everything. Everything goes to the Concord area, and if you're sitting front row or you're sitting in the third level or whatever, you don't see anything unless they put it on the Tron. So I'm assuming they would put it on the Tron somewhere, somehow, right? That's definitely a TV production thing right there. So he's absolutely right.
Remember, Tommy, the thing the boys used to love the most, it never happened to me when I was in the ring, but whenever some idiot fan would decide to jump the barricade and you look at your little writing on the ticket, and the ticket said you kind of take it into your own hands, and the boys had every right to just put a beat down. And some guys put a beat down of mammoth proportions. One of the worst ones I ever saw was at Hall of Fame 4 years ago. We had taken Sports Center to WrestleMania, and it was Ronda Rousey's husband. It was a guy. Remember the guy that took down Bret Hart?
Yeah.
This guy took a beating like I've never seen. They were on him, Tommy. I was in the arena, and it was just one shot after another, and nobody stopped him. And then the guy tried to sue the company, and he was the one that attacked Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That didn't go very far. But the boys,
a little inside tip for everybody, because they don't notice. You know the inside of the ring. You know what they call that, right? They call that the corral, folks. So every time they would see fans kind of get rowdy, and they would say, everybody's sitting there, oh, I dare you to jump the corral. You jump in the corral, your ass is mine. And the boys would love that, because they would just stomp the shit out of you if you try to come in the ring. So that little sacred area that we were all at, the announcers and the ring guy and everybody else, that's called, you see it's round, it's called the corral with the ring right in there, folks.
That's exactly right. All right, we'll get back to Judgment Day in just a little bit, but let's move on to my biggest I don't get it of Monday Night Raw and the entire brand. And that is what Johnny Autism Wrestling writes in the chat. Coach, I think Gunther is so boring. I don't know what everybody sees in him. And I agree. I compared him to Steven Regal, who I worked with for many, many, many years. I, in fact, was a tag team champion with Steven Regal. Clearly, I was the entertaining half of the tag team. But Tommy, when they bring him out and they're doing the whole suit and tie, and there's Randy Orton, and I'm thinking to myself, we've been talking about Cody. We posted something on our page about what is next for Cody. Why is he stuck on Friday nights? Well, apparently, Randy Orton is not stuck on Friday nights. What did you make of the reason they said when Drew questioned Adam Pearce about why Randy Orton was allowed to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship or whichever one that is?
Well, it was because, the excuse is because the King of the Ring, he never really got pinned. So, and that made Gunther, the King of the Ring, gave him the right to face the champ at SummerSlam. So that was the whole reason. Adam Pearce said that to Drew. Drew said he was going to get, he's going to do something on his own tonight. We're all waiting for that. And then this segment comes up. And again, no heat, Coach. And how the heat come on is Gunther got personal with Randy Orton, saying, your grandfather was a screw up. Your father was a screw up. That's how you create instant heat. Am I right or wrong on this whole agenda?
That's the low-hanging fruit of how to do it if you want to be lazy.
Well, that's what it is. That's what it is, because they have no other angle going on right now, Coach. Why would, besides the whole King of the Ring bullshit, but why would that happen? Because Gunther got personal again with the other superstar, saying your grandfather was unpredictable or screw up. Your father was a screw up, and you're a big screw up, because we all know, we've been there, Coach, that Randy had his ups and downs with the WWE.
Yeah, I was there during the downs. I was there when he was as immature as anybody, and I say that now because of how far he's come. And he's a leader in the locker room now. He's somebody that people respect, and he's been there over 20 years. But he wasn't always that way, ladies and gentlemen, and I respect where he's come now. Carlos says, reasonable reason from a storyline, in my opinion. Probably so, Carlos, but when you're really struggling, Tommy, for a bench, and when you're having multiple segment matches, that means you don't have enough talent, because you should be able to have one match for one segment all the way throughout the show. But on Monday Night Raw, you got to fill 3 hours. And so clearly bringing Randy Orton over tells me they don't have enough talent. So that's why we thought, Tommy, why not allow Cody to go over there and challenge throughout the entire roster while the Bloodline is headlining SmackDown? To me, that would make way more sense than having Randy challenge Gunther for that World Heavyweight title.
And I think, Coach, thinking about this in the draft, if you're a champion, you can cross over. You can come over to Raw, or Raw go over to SmackDown. I think I'm pretty correct on that. I was thinking about that. We talked about that little segment we did, what's next for Cody, and why wouldn't he do that? Well, they're not letting him do it, and the writing team is not letting, which makes no sense at all. Why not start this show off tonight, just saying he doesn't have a match with Kevin Owens? By the way, no storyline there either, folks. He just picks a guy. What the fuck happened to the story? Where's the story? And we all know, Kay, I'm pissed off, Joe. Coach, I'm pissed.
This is my
Yankees lose.
Version.
Yankees lose. I'm pissed.
Real quick. Can you all put into the chat if you like this version of Big Tommy C? Because when you have no idea, he lives and dies Yankees. Just let Tommy know this is the version you want all the time, because I'm thoroughly entertained. Please, Tommy, continue, and you watch what the chat says right now. I guarantee you they're going to love this version. Go ahead.
And we all know during this whole time, KO is going to go heel. He has to. He can't be two babyface cannot face each other. It doesn't work. We all know it doesn't work. So why not start this show off tonight? Have Cody come out, challenge anybody. Maybe Jey Uso comes out. I'd rather see Jey Uso go against Cody than I see KO facing Cody.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Amazing. You would have literally 8 minutes of entrances. You'd have like the whole match would be the 2 entrances.
And by the way, second week in a row, Coach, Jey Uso not in the match, backstage with Sammy. And we'll talk about that, okay? Put a pin on that.
All right, we'll put a pin on that. Little Al says, I love Big Tommy C. They says, I love the anger. Do you guys think a unified title would be better with the champ crossing brands? That's from Soupy. I personally do. I've never understood, Soupy, the split in general. It's one company, and I don't care if it's it's never made sense. And they started this way back when I was there. I was part of that stupid draft 20-some years ago. And this also, Tommy, when you're the world heavyweight champion, and when John Cena was the champion, he went to every damn show. Raw on Mondays, SmackDown was Tuesdays. But then when you sell a $1 billion deal to Fox and they want you to move it to Friday night, well, now guess what? You can't ask the talent to literally kill themselves to travel on Sundays, do house shows on the weekend, go on Friday. Now you're talking 5 days a week minimum. You can't ask them to do that. But, Tommy, hopefully when SmackDown – have you heard if SmackDown's going to go – when it goes to USA, is it going to go to Tuesdays or stay on Fridays?
Fridays. September 15th, I think. They put a promo in tonight. I think USA
put a promo. Because Tessitore is going to be doing SmackDown.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Tessitore is going to do Raw.
Tessitore is doing Raw. So he can still do football. So that's – but, Tommy, even if that, because Cody's the type, and it's so hard to become a champion in the WWE, and that translates into millions of dollars. So I don't think Cody would have an issue if you told him, hey, we need you to do SmackDown. We need you to show up on Raw. How about you do house shows Saturday and Sunday? Those are your 4 days. That was a normal week for us back then. It was 4 days, 4 shows. What's the issue with doing that now just for the world champion so he can move around? You never know he's going to show up, and he's over like Rover. I think the Monday Night Raw fans would love to see Cody Rhodes, don't you?
Absolutely, Coach. I mean, and he rides a bus.
Yeah.
He has a bus taking him around. I just have one question for everybody. What's the difference between undisputed champ and world heavyweight champ? Can somebody tell me?
Nothing.
Not
a belt.
Okay.
A belt.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It's 2 guys. It should be 1. Maybe it'll happen.
And that 1 should not be Gunther. I know that's right. Should not be Gunther.
And it all again, Gunther goes personal, Coach, and that's the easiest way to get heat. Is that right?
It always is, but it's also, Tommy, when they're trying to get that instant heat. And for those fans who are new, that when we say heat, when we say, okay, they're getting heat, when they're either beating them up or going after their family or whatever, that's what heat means. And when you are lazy or not creative, maybe it's not laziness. Maybe they just couldn't come up with anything else, Tommy, to make sense. Sometimes that happens.
Well, it happened with Cody. I mean, you got the best guy in the world working, and he picks his own guy. He picks Kevin Owens. There's not even no story. I mean, we're so old school, and maybe I got to stop that.
What would you have done? Like in a perfect world,
I would have had
Monday Night Raw. They bring Cody out. What would you have loved to see? And in the chat, let us know, what would you have loved if Cody was allowed to be on Monday Night Raw? What would you have him do? Put in the chat for the answers. Go ahead, Tom.
I would have a tournament. I swear to God, I would have a tournament for the #1 contender, and I would combine Raw superstars with SmackDown, put them against each other. Do you know what I mean? I would put Jey Uso against Kevin Owens. I'd do so. Now you have both brands going for that title, and that's more interesting.
Where are the matches at? On Raw or on SmackDown?
Yeah, they would be on either one. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, you could make them even, I guess, but it makes it more interesting, Coach. Instead of saying, "Hey, you've been behind me the whole time. Every time the bloodlines come out, I want you." And then Kevin goes, "Oh, no, I'm not worthy. My record is blah, blah, blah." Then it goes to Nick Aldis saying, "I want Roman." That sparks a fire under KO, right? And then they end up having a title. But KO's got to turn heel big time, Coach, in my eyes.
I think you're spot on. I really, really do. And do not think that they did not watch this show, because we've seen some things that we talked about right before it happened. And then it happened. See SmackDown last week.
Yep.
In the chat, let's see. Not a whole lot to get to. Still talking about the Yankees that you can't seem to get over. There's another one, Tommy, real quick. Talking about boring. It's Lingo says, thoughts on this whole Bronson Reed thing these last few weeks? I'd rather watch paint dry twice before I watch another match of his. This is also a signature Uncle Tommy. I think we agree on Tommy. We're very critical here, but we also give praise where praise is due. And if all you are is a physical specimen and you're hardcore, that's great. but you got to be able to talk. And so far, I've not seen anything out of Bronson Reed that shows me he has the personality to carry going after what we saw against Seth Rollins. And now they're going to continue to, I think, push him in a rivalry with Seth. Is that really what Seth wants? Is that what it should be? Your thoughts on Bronson Reed?
Well, Bronson Reed, they're just building him up, week by week now because Seth is out, right? He's out. So now they put him against Miz, top superstar, not Seth level, but a top superstar. Miz wants no part of him. He splashes him. He goes to do it again after the match is over. And then R-Truth is the guy that gets hammered the whole friggin' time. So that's just trying to build Bronson Reed up as a big time heel, right? Of doing all he's disrespecting the whole crew out there. Adam Pearce and a bunch of those guys, the producers and referees, and then he leaves the ring and then he comes back in again, right? So, and he's right in Adam Pearce's face. This is my place. He's talking crap to Adam. So that's just trying to make him a hotter heel right now because Seth is out. So it's going to go. Is this going to go week by week? He's going to face somebody next week, squash him again, and do the same thing all over again. Easy writing for me, Coach.
Tommy, what do you think? What do you think it was like today because back when we were doing shows, whatever I was doing on Monday night, I would get a call on Friday or Saturday to tell me, "Hey, Coach, we're thinking about this." And normally, if you have a match, you would do your match at the house show on Saturday or Sunday, just kind of get it right. Can you imagine what it's like right now to get a call if you're R-Truth on Friday? Hey, R-Truth, here's what we're doing on Monday night.
Yeah.
It's going to be your partner, the Miz. And yeah, I'm with you. Let's go. And he's going to go against Bronson Reed. Yeah, I like that a lot. Where are we going after that? Well, then you're going to get your ass handed to you by Bronson Reed. What do you think about that, R-Truth? Sit on that all weekend getting ready for Monday Night Raw. And there's nothing funny about it. And to me, R-Truth should always be in something entertaining. To me, beating R-Truth up is like beating up your little brother at this point. I forgot he even wrestled, to be honest with you, till last week.
Yeah. Well, they need to bring Jimmy back. Remember R-Truth and Jimmy?
I will tell you this much. When he was...
That was entertaining, Coach.
It was. He's been around for like 20 years. I mean, it's been a long time, and he's had so many iterations of himself, but I never knew that he had this kind of comedic stylings inside of him. The stuff he does is incredible.
The old man loved him. Vince loved R-Truth.
He loved R-Truth.
Yeah, remember we used to do rehearsals? I mean, he'd be talking to R-Truth the whole time. Like he had something. He loved R-Truth. I don't know what it was, but they would sit there and just have conversations. I have to butt in and say, "Okay, Vince, we're ready for this rehearsal. I'll be right with you." But it was like a weird combination, man. And he's a good guy. I mean, he
is, and you root for him. You root for him.
The other question I have about Reed is how safe is he in the ring? I mean, that's a heavy bump, man. I know you got.
You mean the off the top rope?
Yeah.
I personally, wouldn't take that many. I've taken a lot of frog splashes. When you're as heavy as him and you're coming down, you noticed last week how Seth kind of set up to take it. That's probably the safest way to take it because then you could have the impact like kind of bounce off the ring. But understand that like Nia Jax, Bronson Reed, when you have to be so incredibly physical, it's almost physically impossible, Tommy, not to, I hate using the word dangerous, but not being a little bit dangerous because you got to have the impact. And gravity is what gravity is. So I remember one night, Tommy, I used to ring announce, and it was Super Bowl Sunday, and we were in State College, and they used to have the heel go over at the end of the match or at the end of the night, and normally you wanted the babyface to go over. But since I was a heel, they would have me ring announce, then I would get beat up at the end of the night. And I remember on Super Bowl Sunday, I just happened to be traveling by myself that week, and the end of the night was Rob Van Dam. And he did something, and then I was going to get in there. Boom, I'm laying down, and he would jump over Earl Hebner and frog splash me. And I remember seeing him go up over Earl Hebner probably 10 feet in the air. So when he's in the air, Tommy, there's nothing he can do. He can't move, can't slide. And I see him coming right down towards my face. and he landed on my face, rammed my head into the mat, and about an hour into my drive to, that was Youngstown to State College, I knew I had a concussion. I started dozing off. I had a headache. I was kind of driving off the road. It was very, very dangerous. But that's how devastating those splashes can be if not done correctly.
You know who the best? You know who's the best? And I asked Taker this one time of not hurting anybody and being safe.
Who?
Yokozuna.
Really, Yokozuna?
I asked Taker. Yeah,
big boy too.
Boy, he held himself. He never hurt anybody. Taker said he would take that bump 5 times, man.
Really?
Yeah, and Taker didn't like stuff like that, but he trusted Yoko, and Yoko was the safest guy for doing stuff like that.
That is fascinating. I never would have guessed. I wouldn't guess that he was dangerous, but I also wouldn't guess that he was super, super safe. Yeah, just because it's so hard to move that big of a body around.
Yeah, I think it was all the strength of his arms. I mean, holding the ropes coming down and just kind of holding yourself a little bit, and your feet, like getting your feet, like the way he explained it was really weird. Like he set his feet somehow to make sure, he touched your chest but not fucking hurt you. That's impossible to me, but. All right, I figured Samoan would be able to do that, right?
No doubt.
Samoan
no doubt. Rick says Truth took a beating tonight. No doubt he did, Rick. Let's go back to another guy we've already mentioned, but didn't talk about his angle tonight, and that's Drew McIntyre. And I like the fact that he questioned Randy Orton being on the show because we all were wondering it. But then as we head to this, we see CM Punk. He's got the backstage interview with Kathy Kelly. And I'm like, are we really that stupid that they really were on the same plane flying down to Austin? I thought that was a little silly at the top. It is what it is. Where do you think we're headed with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre?
Well, the way CM Punk ended it, had the strap in his hand. I think it's going to be a strap match at Bash in Berlin, which something's going to happen. I think the way he hit it, he said, well, I know a way to fix this. And he had the strap. So to me, it's got to be a strap match, right? So now they can't get away from each other, right? And just beat the hell out of each other. Now maybe Punk goes over or whatever happens there, and then it ends up at Bad Blood Hell in a Cell. Final.
I wanted something like that at SummerSlam, Tommy. I really did. I wanted something so Seth wasn't so involved. And we're gonna get it. I can't disagree with you. But
do the fans agree with us? I mean, ask everybody on Twitter or X. Do they agree? Do they think? Because that's what I got from on the out of Punk's interview.
Tommy, you have to ask the chat, not the X. Ask the
chat. I'm sorry, the chat. My bad.
That's kind of my job. But if you, hey, X, can you let Tommy know? He's asking the X chat. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in a strap match? Because Rich agrees with something you just said. He goes, yep, 100%, Tommy. Carlos says strap match at Bad Blood. So we're going to wait till Bad Blood? Which one's first again? Is Berlin before Bash. Bad Blood?
It's August 31st.
Berlin, right?
And there's no I don't think there's a September pay-per-view, and then it goes right to October because there's 2 pay-per-views in August. SummerSlam in the beginning and Bash at the end.
Bash at Berlin, and then, man, that's a long. Thank you, Rich.
So you got
that's a long time to wait for Bad Blood, Tommy. That's a long time to wait.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen at Bash, and then you got another 4 weeks to promote it in September. Some way, somehow, they beat the hell out of you every week. I don't know. I mean,
wow, man,
they've beaten it to death. I like the one thing I liked about Punk is explaining the bracelet. He explained the bracelet tonight.
I've been questioning that for so long, and with 2 big dudes fighting over a bracelet and having it get the clothes, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me.
You're right.
It's you know what's funny, Tommy? And we used to go through this all the time when we were at every single Monday. And for those people in the chat, me and Tommy went every single Monday. I made it to 519 out of 520 Raws my first stint in the WWE. That's insanity. But every week we would show up and we do the same. Oh, here we go again. Here. But then if something was red freaking hot, like when you had Rock in Austin, you couldn't wait to get to the arena because the crowd was popping. They were outside all day. I mean, when things were popping, there was nothing better than to show up early for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. The business is hot right now, but I don't know if storylines are making. I think fans are showing up because they feel like they need to. Like Austin, Texas won't be back for a year, so we're going to sell out tonight 13,000. Do you feel like maybe that there's a mixture of that a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, there is a mixture of that. People are not going to see WWE for a year. There's really one storyline on Raw, and that's Rhea, Liv, Dom, and Priest right now.
That's it. That's it.
I
That's
mean,
it.
I know it got Damage Control and the other ones there, but it's nowhere near the level where it should be. You know what I mean? I mean, you got Jey Uso sitting out for 2 weeks. He hasn't been on
He's
Raw.
the hottest entrance in the business right now. Him and Cody have the hottest entrances in the business. His entrance should be on every single week. Period. That's what interactive wrestling is all about. When you go to the show, you don't go just to watch matches, Tommy. You go to watch a show, and he is a show. Why is he not on? Why is he not?
I don't know. He was on a backstage. Yeah, he was on a backstage interview with Sami Zayn. Now, unless they do a dark match tonight after the show's over, and then they have him come out, but that makes no sense TV wise.
The crowd's dead by then.
Yeah.
The crowd's dead by 11 o'clock, and you're coming off a 2 out of 3 of Sami Zayn, and I'd already walked out. I would have been on I-135 out of Austin back to Dallas before that 2 out of 3 match was over. Are you kidding me right now? So let's lead in, Tommy, to the ladies. I know the one thing that really ticked you off tonight was the ladies, because without Becky, without Charlotte, without the really big stars, I feel like they're struggling to, outside of Rhea and Liv, get any traction with anybody else. And then tonight, convoluted is the word that I wrote down watching that whole thing happen tonight. What about you?
Can somebody figure out for me what the hell happened besides taking time up in that show, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a number 1 contenders match, okay? Mm-hmm. We have this new team name, Pure Fusion Collective. What the hell is that name? Are you freaking kidding me? Who thought of that name? Were they stoned or something? I can't believe that. What does that mean? Pure Fusion Collective. I don't get it. Sounds like an insurance firm.
Well, Rich says the name of the DeVille faction is so atrocious. Oh my God, Tommy.
The worst name. So it's kind of like, Tommy, it's kind of like a product that's really bad that had to go through 4 or 5 different meetings to get to production. How did that go through 4 or 5 meetings? And they go, yeah, let's go with that on Monday. Hey, let's go with Pure Fusion Collective. Really? What does it mean? Okay, so we have that. Then we have Damage Control come in. Then we have the tag team champs come in, who they're so popular, I don't even know their names. I swear to God. That's beside the point, Coach. Okay, so they sit ringside. So we're waiting for this number 1 contender. They come to the end of the match. The tag team champs come in the ring, and we have a schmaz, as we say in the business. No finish, nothing. We don't have any more number 1 contenders. So they're going to have another match next week just to fill time. You spent 2 segments, or maybe it was 3 segments, on this fakakta match, and we had no friggin' payoff, Coach. None.
Raphael says Tommy is on fire tonight. You're on fire. I'm just kind of laying back and kind of just navigating a little bit. I just want to get out of your way because you are on fire, Tommy. I tell you.
Well, when you lose to the worst team in baseball, that pisses you off. So
I almost want them to lose every Monday night now, just for this show. Just lose on Mondays, Yankees.
But
that's
really,
all we
Coach,
care about. That's
seriously,
all we care about. Yeah.
That was just time fill, right? Because they don't know who, right?
That's it. Well, they can't talk, Tommy. That's the problem. They've created this dominant tag team now Sonya could talk, but she was out for so long, like we almost forgot about her. But these two, they're part of their whole Ronda Rousey regime from years ago, but they simply cannot talk. And anybody watching right now, if you learn anything from over 45 years inside of the WWE on this show, understand this. I do not care how good you can work, whether you are a male or a female. If you cannot talk, you cannot get over to the level that you need to get over. And these two, every time they've been allowed to talk, Tommy, it ain't good. It ain't good. and they can kick ass. There's no question about it. But they brought Sonya with them, and it's very obvious why. Because she talks for them in pre-tapes. But yet then they pick on the smaller girls sometimes, the athletic ones, and to me, they're just missing a star on the female side. And if I'm Becky Lynch and I'm sitting at home, you know what I'm doing, Tommy? My asking price is going up by the week.
Yep.
And they'll probably tell her, you're not worth it. But guess what, Tommy? If I'm watching that women's division right now, I'm upping that check. I'm backing the Brinks truck up. I'm saying, hey, Becky, we need you back. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Totally agree. One thing Becky could do is cut a promo and make you feel it, right? Make you feel like you believe in her, right? I don't believe in any of these girls. I mean, I've lost a little luster on Rhea because the way she cuts a promo, she just screams in my face and screams in my ear.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Becky used to talk to you. Charlotte talks to you. You never see Charlotte scream when she cuts a promo. And you're not supposed to scream like that anyway. You're telling a story, and that's what they did very well. And they need to get her back quick, man, because the women's division is just not where it's supposed to be, Coach.
Yeah, the chat agrees. Johnny says, I miss Becky Lynch. I hope she's not retired rich. There's literally no contenders for the women's world title. Who is the women? Oh, yeah, that's Liv. For years, they never announced matches week to week, but now they're trying to give fans a reason to watch. That's a good point, Tommy. We never, unless it was a super, super, super big match, would never announce the main event for the next week. That was always announced in the first segment when the big star would come out, whether it was Rock or Taker or Triple H or Stone Cold. They would set up, and then guess what? You wouldn't see them again until the end of the show.
Yep.
And that's what stars do. Stars do not come out 8 or 9 times in a 2 or 3 hour show. This is a problem, Tommy. And if they're announcing matches to get people to tune in, that's a problem. What did Vince Russo tell us right here on Behind the Turnbuckle? You have to write for Hollywood. You don't write for the marks, right?
Yep. So one thing that was taught to me a long time ago, Coach, when I worked in international, we used to cut down that 2-hour Raw show to 1 hour. The most important thing is you get that obviously the first segment, because that sets up the whole show to the main event, like you just said, and you have the last segment. And in between could be a little schmoss or whatever, but you got to tell that story. Triple H coming out, blah, blah, blah. I'm challenging you. End of the show like that. First and last. And they don't do that anymore, Coach. Not at all.
I just think that they've been going too long at 52 weeks a year. Nobody can tell Vince anything. And I don't care what. I know it's a unique business, Tommy. And I know that we're spitting into the wind right now because they're not going to change it because the TV deals are way too big. But it hurts the product. It's always hurt the product when you don't have enough guys and you don't have enough girls. And right now we're going through that, but they hide behind second quarter earnings, more money than we've ever made. We're going to get $5 billion from Netflix. Yeah, 36 weeks of the year. It's fantastic. Guess how many weeks of the year, Tommy, a network has a normal show that's a hit? 22.
Yeah. Yep.
22. So even for Netflix or any of these networks, there's still 14 more weeks they're getting a highly rated show, and still it's not good for the other 16. It's always been that way, though, and it's not going to change. Yep. But they need to bring some of these stars back. Once Charlotte Becky walk back in the door, it's all good. It's all good, at least for the women's side of things. All right, Tommy, we're only on for usually 40, 45 minutes. I think we've hit just about everything. Anything else that we haven't hit on tonight on a very lackluster Raw?
I like the Wyatt Sick6 promo, the vignette. I really like what I liked about it was Uncle Howdy was in the ring last week, and then it comes back, and you see Bo Dallas there, and he's telling a story, and they're reflecting back to Bray in that little vignette that they had. All the words they were saying there all reflects back to Bray, and I like that you saw them, and then he's there in the TV. I just thought it was a very interesting promo, and it keeps me thinking, man, what's still to come with these guys? And that's what I like, the anticipation of what could be coming with Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, both, being the same guy, but playing Bo Dallas in that scene right there. So I thought that vignette was really well done tonight.
I think that they're starting to get me back on their side after the two of us were very critical of the Whataburger picture. And now I think that they've scaled it back a little bit. I haven't seen anything on Instagram the last few weeks. I think they heard us. I think they listened to us. And I think now they're starting to realize what they have if they just protect it a little bit and roll it out just week by week. You know what I ran into today, Tommy, here at the house? It got me a little bit emotional, to be honest with you. I think I've told you that my connection to Bray Wyatt, when I went back in 2017, 2018, guys are allowed to do this. Women do it all the time. I walked by Bray Wyatt, and I was like, damn, whatever cologne he's wearing is fantastic. And I said, hey, Bray, what's that cologne that you're wearing? And he says, he looks around, Tommy, and I was like, did I ask a weird question? And he's like, you can't tell anybody, but it's called a Vaquero. And I'm like, why can't I tell anybody? Tommy, it's only $35 a bottle. And he didn't want anybody to know that he wore cheap cologne. And I bought about 6 bottles the next day. And I found one of those bottles. I kid you not. This is a true story. And I found one of those bottles today because I'm packing for my golf trip tomorrow. And I got to think, I was like, man, the whole reason I wear this cologne, because I have 3 or 4 that I wear, is because of Bray Wyatt. And that's my only connection, other than he was really cool to me when I came over from ESPN. But isn't that weird that a cologne connects us?
Yeah, it's really weird because the superstars love cologne because they always feel like they're in this physical sport. They sweat and everything like that. They take a shower, so they make sure they want to smell good, that they don't smell. Lord Alfred Hayes told me that a really long time ago. I was like, Alfred, why is the heavy smell of cologne? He goes, Thomas, it's because of the sport that we were in. And he went through the whole thing. Love that man. He was the best, boy. One other thing, Coach. Yeah. Ron Breaker is a bad mofo. That boy's going to be a big star. Man, he is unbelievable in the ring. Just his agility, I love everything about him. Not in love with the name, but I think he explained that with Chris, your buddy there, saying that he wanted that name. He didn't want to live with the Steiner name. He wanted to be on his own, and the way he would reflect back to the Steiners as his outfits that he wears. So I understand it. But he's a bad boy, and he's going to be a big star, Coach.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we're going to talk it all the time here on Behind the Turnbuckle to kind of reset. We're here every single Monday night at 11:10 p.m. Eastern time, breaking down every Monday Night Raw. Most weeks, but I've had a busy schedule traveling. Golf is almost over. So during the fall, me and Tommy will have an interview almost every single week. If you're a BTT Plus Premium member, we have the War Room where we break down 5 of the biggest topics, and we're always dropping other topics here on the show as well. Am I missing anything, Tommy, outside of those?
No.
A lot of content.
We had a lot of content. It was good. We're good.
Yeah. I'm enjoying this show. Show a lot. I really, really am. I know it's past your bedtime, Tommy, but for some of us who are still, I mean, today was my birthday, Tommy.
Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday to the coach.
You weren't going to tell me. Everybody today in DTL told me, but somebody that I've been friends with for 25 years.
I texted you. What are you kidding me?
So it's okay, Tommy. I'm not hurt.
Oh my God.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Check out the War Room later this week. We'll be back next Monday night, as we always are. Turn on your notifications. And then once we start August 20th, next Tuesday, we are just going. And there's a lot of things that are almost done that I can't tell you till they're done, but I'm telling you, this fall is going to be amazing for BTT and DTL, and it's all because of all of you. So with all that being said, that's going to do it for us. I've never done this on the last word. We're going to see how it works. You've got your marching orders, so watch us every single Monday night for Big Tommy C. I'm the coach and producer, man. We'll see you next Monday night right here. Very special start time, 11:10 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, be safe, and please enjoy wrestling for what it is, entertainment. See ya. It has been paid for by Behind the Turnbuckle Plus.